Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am?
I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm looking for the man who saw Frank James killed in Mexico, and they told me he was talking to you on the porch.
It was me who seen the killing, ma'am.
Oh, then it's you I want to talk to.
Just a minute, miss. Who are you, if you don't mind?
My name's Eleanor Stone. I'm a newspaper writer. I was passing the hotel, and somebody told me
Writer?
that...
You mean you write pieces for the paper?
Yes, a reporter for the Denver Star.
A lady reporter?
Mind if I sit down? It'll be easier for me to take notes.
Sure do beat all. A lady newspaper, ma'am.
Well, I'm not really and truly a reporter. Not yet. But I'm going to be. My father's the owner of the Star. Maybe you've heard of him. Randolph Stone?
Well, can't say I have, but if he owns the paper, should think he'd be doing well enough so his daughter don't have to work.
Oh, I don't have to work. And if you must know, my father's very much opposed to it. He thinks I should finish college and then sit around with my hands folded, waiting for someone to get around to marrying me. I'll do nothing of the sort. Women are awakening. They want to do things.
Down where I come from, women figure they're doing plenty, feeding a dozen farmhands and raising kids.
We can't all feed farmhands and have babies. Everybody to their taste. I want to be a newspaper woman. Now tell me about Frank James. If I can get a good story, maybe even my father will be convinced I can be a reporter. Won't you help me?
Sure, we'll help. Go ahead, tell her everything, son.
Well, it all happened about 6 weeks ago. We'd been down in Hernandez herding longhorns, and that night we went into town to do a little drinking.
A boy like you?
Ma'am, I ain't no boy. Down in Mexico, I do a man's work and a man's drinking. When we got to Whiskey Joe's, there was a drunken crowd there from another ranch, ruffling things up. Frank James, oh, I've seen him a couple times before, he was up at the bar, drinking quiet and minding his own business.
You taking this down that newfangled shorthand?
Oh, no, just making notes as I would in classes. Go ahead.
So this crowd from the other ranch was whooping it up, especially the foreman, fella they call Red. Oh, like this, when a girl comes in the place. Oh, a little girl, maybe 10 or 12, looking for her pa. Red makes a grab for her, and she starts crying and screaming. And that plumb annoys Frank. He comes over from the bar, and he pulls the girl away from Red and knocks him a-kicking. Right away, I knows there's going to be trouble and bush of lots. Everybody except Red's gang runs out of the place. It being none of my ruckus, I ducks behind the bar. But Frank don't scare any. He pulls his gun and stands with his back up against the bar. It's 1 against 12 or 15. Red and his crew start blazing away, and Frank's blazing right back. He knocks off 2 guys and then gets hit himself in the left arm. Well, to make it short, he finishes off Red.
Good, good.
Better be taking all this down, miss.
It's all right, I'll remember.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. He finishes off Red and 5 or 6 of his gang. By this time, Frank himself is leaking like a sieve. He's down on the ground, dying, but still fighting, when a slug gets him in the heart. Then the fellas that are left empty their guns into him.
Oh, the cowards.
This belonged to Frank. See, it's marked F.J. I picked it up figuring I could give it to some of his kinfolks if I ever run into him.
Oh, what a wonderful story for the paper.
Oh, yes, wonderful story.
Thank you ever so much. Oh, I must have your name.
Grayson. Tom Grayson.
You say this happened 6 weeks ago? Then he couldn't have been mixed up in that Missouri Express robbery that I've been reading about, where a man was killed.
Oh, no. Frank had been in Mexico over a year.
Frank James never killed nobody. Of course, I ain't counting that Mexico business.
He and his brother must have been wonderfully colorful characters. I wish I could have known them. Well, I must hurry along to the paper. Goodbye, and thank you so much.
Sometimes, might have news. Could I see you?
I'd be glad to see you anytime. You'll always be able to reach me at the Star. Now.
is very good. But I still think that a newspaper is no place for a woman.
Now, dear, please don't be so severe.
Edna, don't interfere.
But, Papa, you've got to admit, this is the biggest scoop you've had in 6 months. Been telegraphed all over the country. And I got it for you.
Oh, my dear, you just stumbled on it. You know, that can happen to anybody.
But I do go on the payroll, don't I?
I don't know. I've got to think that over.
No, thank you.